you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then we have David Miller. So first of all, on behalf of Pest Free Banks Peninsula, and then please stay at the table and be David Miller in your own right. Kia ora and welcome.
Kia ora tātou, everybody. Nice to see you all again, and thank you for this opportunity to talk with you again about Pest Free Banks Peninsula. It's always a bit daunting following Penny Carnaby. You know, she's a fabulous communicator and a lovely, warm person, and I can't help but seeing my own deficiencies in the light of all of that. Nevertheless, thanks again it's good to be in the room, and thank you for giving Banks Peninsula such a good hearing today. So I'm here initially to talk about Pest Free Banks Peninsula, and you would have seen the submission. So what I thought I would do is just give an update on what we've been able to achieve. We've had two massive constraints, as you'll all be only too aware of. One, of course, is COVID, and that's directly impacted our operational work on the ground for Pest Free. But also we had the catastrophic deluge on December the 15th last year, and I'll talk a little bit more about that down the line. Penny talked about the Te Kakahu Kahokura launch event earlier in April, and about the feral goat eradication work. We're just about to start that again in Peraki, and we've had, as she said, remarkable results from professional musterers and hunters so far in Little Akaloa, Kinloch and Orton Bradley. We do aim to eliminate feral goats from the peninsula within 3 years. Excuse me. Of course, the focus on feral goat elimination has also cast a light on the elimination of feral pigs and feral deer, and we're conscious of the tensions that the comparisons can raise within the community. The Feral Pig Committee met very recently, and the Conservation Trust has now signed an MOU with the Rod Donald Trust, which will enable $15,000 of funding to get surveillance and trapping started for feral pigs. But with Pest Free, our two key areas of focus are Kaiteriti and the extended wild side. So since January the 1st this year in Kaiteriti, we've obtained permissions from Taumutu and Ngaitahu. We've installed and serviced 70 infrared cameras in a grid across the pointy end of the spit. We've had support from 2 Lincoln University students, one researching on how to increase capture rates and another on how to investigate camera footage to predict population decline in line with our overall aspirations. After waiting 11 months for equipment to arrive, we've set 50 remote reporting traps on Kaiteriti. We've also now have around 200 traps live and are tweaking the system to ensure everything is working well before scaling that up even further. We had a joint feral cat trapping pulse alongside Doc in April. We caught 9 feral cats and 54 hedgehogs, and during the same period, Doc caught 19 and 25 hedgehogs and 1 ferret, and 2 Kahu harrier hawks were caught and released unharmed from the multi-species traps we've been using. If you're interested in the body count, since mid-March, we've caught 145 hedgehogs, 41 feral cats, 20 possums and 11 mustelids. This is really important for the banded dotterel populations on the peninsula. Every feral cat reduces the risk to those populations significantly. On the extended wild side, we've engaged with 16 landowners, getting permissions to undertake activities for the possum project. We've given them 113 traps for the control of mustelids and feral cats. We've cut over 3 kilometres of new tracks through really horrible, nasty, gnarly gorse and some horrible gullies. We've started to redesign the stoat control trap lines. We've reviewed and reported on camera monitoring results. And on the wild side, we've worked with DOC to monitor titi populations. It seems they've not been too badly affected by the deluge last Christmas, which of course is great news. We also have an exciting trapping initiative with the Akaroa Area School, which is going to kick off late this month. And we've got new permissions from DOC to undertake knockdowns of possum populations using bait stations within that area. Other developments, you would have heard earlier on from Marie Gray. We have 1,200 households actively participating in the Predator Free Port Hills program. We've employed 12 staff, many of whom are locally based on the peninsula. And because innovation is so essential to our success, we're working closely with researchers and innovators from the Cacophony Project, Zero Invasive Predators, Lincoln University and the University of Canterbury. About the floods, I've been doing oral histories of landowners affected by the floods. Many of them hardened, experienced, decades plus involvement on the peninsula as landowners and farmers. Many of them thought that was the last night they would be on the planet. The threat and the sense of threat from that deluge is hard to anticipate unless you've been down there and seen the extraordinary damage caused. We decided to stop talking about possums that evening and to see how we could help landowners who were most directly affected, and we assisted landowners where we could. This continued into February with the assistance of key partners. We ask a lot of our landowners on the extended wild side. We felt the least we could do would be to help them through Pest Free's workforce. We spent nearly 50 labour days in doing so. We lost 4 cameras and up to 50 traps. Big shout out to Paul Devlin and the Parks team for the massive support they gave subsequent to that event. At the end of my submission, you will see I'm asking for continued council support. We're not asking for an increase, but we really appreciate the input that the council has made to make Pest Free possible. It's been a substantial and meaningful and visible contribution. We're desperately grateful to you for that. We're hoping for a continuation of a $90,000 contribution, $40,000 for the feral goat eradication program, and $50,000 towards the pest-free elimination program. We also want to acknowledge the support of council personnel. Andrew, you've been a fantastic supporter of Pest-Free Banks Peninsula through your engagement on the project oversight group. We thank you very, very much for the attention and the time and the quality time you've given to that. And the Parks Ranger team have just been immense as well. So we look forward to continuing collaborating with the council as we go forward. Thank you very much. Open for questions.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions?
Thank you all for your support. I mean, we couldn't do it without you, and you're one of our key founding partners in the project. So.
Well, I mean, it seemed a lot bigger when you first came with the ask than it feels like today. So I think if the investment hadn't been taken up, and I want to acknowledge you and the team, then we would be in a far worse position today than we are. So, you know, it's job well done, but job to be done. Yep.
Absolutely right. I mean, it's been an amazing collaboration. Pest Free is just the sort of administrator of this project, but with 14 partners, with lots of on-the-ground collaboration, you know, the landowners are partners too, yeah. And there are hundreds of them. So our gratitude to you all is unbounded.
Great. Well, it's ditto. So there's reciprocity in the unboundedness of the of the gratitude.
Unbounded reciprocity. That's a squash ball, isn't it? Going backwards and forwards.
That's a very good point. David, I'll invite you to make your personal submission now.
Thank you. So this is a